This is Short Hammer. It is the 3rd of July, 2022, and this is Trading Zones. So taking a peek at the RTY, we're just below the 1721 level. So we're looking at this. The potential we can go down to 1702. If we regain the 1720s, then we could squeeze up into the bottom of this zone here, 1745 by 1798, so 1740 by 1790s. And at that point, we may see a stronger pullback. To the downside, we have 1662, 1630, and 1612s. To the upside, if we happen to pop this zone, we're looking at the 1815s as a good location here. So we'll see how the week shakes out. But let's see. 621. Definitely a very bearish. But we'll see, because I can't say we'll see, because you never know how it will open and sort of what the buyers or sellers will do. But I do think that there is, if you just look at these charts, there's a lot of weakness. We have to see how it shakes out. MES 3747, multiple touches. Pull back here. Okay, so right around 3817. Then here 3833. Okay, so if we don't get up here around 3857s and we get negative drift, we might be seeing a 3747-ish test. See, it's a 4 hour. Yep. So we have to see on the MES how that plays out. Didn't quite make the swing low. Okay. So we'll see. First level mentioned, up here is 3856. That's an interesting level, 3887. Then the 3920s. And then to the downside, let's see how far we sell there. Oh, okay. Back to the M&Q. So we are below the zone 11,700s by 12,030, I think it is. So we want to see if we drift lower or if we catch a bid into the 11,700s. I think it's going to be hard because there was some pretty bad news that came out about construction and other things. Yeah, I kind of think that there's definitely more downside. But let's see if we're able to get us inside this trend and make a a higher wave here. But I'm not holding my breath for that. There's just been all these different rallies that they mentioned. There are rallies in the bear market. They all seem to get sold right back off. So we'll see how that holds up. But actually, before I leave this page, right, we're looking at just that simple back test. But you can look at candle structure too, right? And so if we do get back over the 11,700s, then we're in this zone and we could chop around a bit in this zone, I believe. Okay, cool. Pardon me. All righty. So if we're looking at Netflix, we can go all the way back to the 13th of June. And we see these sort of bouncing around here. right? We're not going too far below the 171 area, and we're not getting any true traction above the 184.90s. So what I would watch is if at some point we get over the 188.60, which is this pop blue here, then one moment. Um, then if we look to the left, right, we can see a rise here. Whoops, see a rise here into the 198.59 area. So that'd be interesting. 193.8 is where we went last time, but if we could regain this, we could see potential escalator here up to the 198s. So that's going to be interesting. I'll be watching for that on Netflix, looking at this candle structure. And if we drop below, it seems as if we've had like some bottoms here at the 166.40s. So that's definitely interesting. So for me, yeah, I'll put an alert here at another time. Let me keep going. NVIDIA. No idea. The internet has been kind of funky today. Things are dragging just a little bit. Come on. Here we go. So this is funny on NVIDIA. So remember, NVIDIA was kind of in this area where we weren't selling below the 158s and we weren't getting too much above the 181s. So it looks like we fell out of that zone. So the next stop is the 138.40s, maybe the 119s, that we finally broke this area and we're breaking down. It's actually very significant to me. Come on. And definitely watch out for the 138s and the 119s. Not sure how far this can fall, but this is interesting that we lost this area here. This was this 158 area that we couldn't lose. Let's go back. Since May, right? Every time we went below, we kind of went back up into it. But now we kind of drifted below that and we're selling. So definitely want to look for a play next week. Let's see. Yep. We'll see. We missed this last week. But that's interesting on NVIDIA. Meta. We're below the 161s, but if we look back here, 22nd of June, doesn't look like it's that much of a big deal. We have to see if we're able to regain that back into above the 161 area. And if that gives us movement back to the 171, so we'll be watching that to the downside 150.66. If we happen to get below that, then we've got 139 or the 139s. If we manage to get above the 173 area, then we have 179.50. But I think if we pull up into the 173, we might see a slight drift back down near the 161, sort of bounce around a little bit. So that's what I'll be watching for on Meta. Apple. Definitely we could go back to the 142s, but if we don't, a retest of the 137s is possible. Maybe a drift down to the 134s or even the 131s. Have to watch that, but we'll see. And I'll have to put an alert to see if we get a buy with the 142s into the 144s if that happens. But it seems like there's a lot of overhead here on Apple, and just have to see where that goes. But that's what I'll be watching on Apple headed into next week. Check out Microsoft. How we spent the week bouncing around in here. So wonder if we can get a rise here, but we'll see. So to the upside on Microsoft, we have 261, then 263, and 265. To the downside, we have 257, 254. If we drift down, I want to see if the buyers are still there. And holding this 255-ish, 254-ish area. That could be interesting to see. Below that, then it opens up this 251 and 249 area on Microsoft. Head over to Tesla. Tesla being Tesla. Didn't quite get to the 650s, but we're sort of in between now. So we'll watch and see if we dip below 651 and potentially touch 616. Above 651, watch 713. Anything near the 784s, I'll definitely be looking to see if the sellers are there. And down here in these pink lines of the Sophie levels, usually when it gets down there, she looks for longs. But just a lot of turbulence around Microsoft, around Tesla, but just a lot of companies. Also Facebook too, right? Meta. A lot of layoffs, right? It seems as if a lot of companies are beginning to tighten things up as if they're preparing for a recession. But this is the thing to really think about, right? Even if they weren't preparing for a recession, if we remember the last strong pullback that we had in the economy back in 2008, right? Roughly around that time, that a lot of companies were cutting people and laying people off, not necessarily because they needed to, but because they wanted to trim the fat. And it was a great way to increase profits by cutting overhead, right? And that's a good excuse or a good reason to get rid of people by saying that the economy is bad and you just can't afford to keep them anymore. So that's something that's interesting to watch. I think we have a few things going on this upcoming week with the ECB potentially, and just with Europe, and that's something to keep an eye on as far as any rates being adjusted and what they do, because inflation is really a global issue. But those are my thoughts, and we'll see how it all shakes out. See if I can get the SPY to load here. So we have to see where we are right now. If we get a drift back into the 383 and potentially 385, downside 379, below that 378, then 374. So we have to see on SPY which way we go, and if we have strength to get back maybe to 385 and get a push, or if we're going to hang down in this area. Yeah, so we have to see. Well, if you like this video, please go to our YouTube channel, Power of Pivots, and subscribe. And you can look forward to receiving more videos from me, not just videos that are sort of a watch list type of thing and what I'm looking for, but also videos that shows just different technical plays and setups. And you can also look forward to getting videos from Elisa as she shows you how she utilizes her Power of Pivot strategy and software to be able to find great pre-market, intraday, and post-market entries. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful extended weekend. Just stay safe, and we'll see you next week.